3 months ago, the NBA world stood stunned. The unthinkable happened. Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks prodigy, face of the franchise, was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in a blockbuster deal that sent Anthony Davis back to Dallas. Shockwaves reverberated across the league. Pundits, fans, and even players questioned how such a trade, centered around one of the most gifted young superstars the league has ever seen, could ever happen. Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison quickly became a punching bag for the media. Memes flooded social media. Late-night jokes wrote themselves, and for many, the judgment was swift and unforgiving. Harrison had committed one of the most egregious front office blunders in modern NBA history. But as the initial outrage settles, and the dust begins to clear, a more nuanced question emerges. Was it truly as bad as it seemed? Or could time, fate, and a bit of luck eventually vindicate the most controversial trade in years? Luka Doncic wasn't just Dallas' star. He was their identity, a generational talent, a magician with the ball, and already an MVP candidate by his early 20s. In a league desperate for transcendent stars, Luka was the type of player you simply never let go. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis, while still immensely talented, carried a vastly different narrative. A player often injured, occasionally criticized for inconsistent motor, and approaching the twilight of his prime years at 32. The trade seemed lopsided from the start. Luka's youth, his ceiling, his sheer gravitational pull on the game, all of it made the swap almost unfathomable from Dallas' side. It wasn't just a trade. It felt like a betrayal of a promise that Luka would be the man to finally lead the Mavericks back to the promised land after Dirk Nowitzki. Let's be clear, trading Luka Doncic was a massive risk. Harrison essentially bet his career, and perhaps the next decade of Mavericks basketball, on Anthony Davis staying healthy and returning to MVP caliber form. There's no sugarcoating the optic. Giving up on a 25-year-old generational talent looks terrible, especially when the return package felt light, especially when no additional future assets were secured that could pivot the rebuild. But the question we must ask is, what was the internal calculus? Reports suggest Luka had grown restless behind the scenes. Tensions with Kyrie Irving, frustrations over roster construction, concerns about long-term competitiveness. Maybe, in Harrison's mind, the writing was on the wall. Luka might eventually request out, loudly, and leave the franchise scrambling with diminished leverage. In that light, Harrison tried to control the inevitable. Rather than let Luka's departure turn into a slow public meltdown, he opted for a preemptive strike. Acquire a star in Davis who, if healthy, could still anchor a contender alongside Kyrie Irving. It's a galaxy brain level risk. But in a league where superstars drive everything, is there a world where Harrison looks like a genius? Yes. But it's a narrow path for Dallas to win this trade, or at least justify it. Kyrie Irving must re-sign and remain engaged. We the Mavericks must win a championship. If all three occur, this trade could be retroactively seen as bold, audacious, and ultimately successful. After all, championships are the final currency in NBA transactions. No one would care about the optics of trading Luka if Davis and Kyrie deliver the franchise its first title since 2011. Basketball immortality erases a lot of mistakes, but it looms large because history and Davis' medical chart suggest betting on his health is like playing roulette with too many zeros. Since the trade, the Mavericks have stumbled. Chemistry issues, defensive lapses, and stretches of uninspired play have defined their post-trade identity. Davis, while brilliant in flashes, has missed games with minor injuries. Kyrie has been brilliant at times, but unpredictable. The supporting cast looks thinner without the gravitational pull of Luka orchestrating everything. Simply put, the early returns are not encouraging. Meanwhile, the Lakers, armed with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, look like a juggernaut. The energy around the Lakers is electric. Luka's creativity meshing with LeBron's cerebral brilliance has given Los Angeles a renewed championship window. The contrast is painful for Dallas fans. And if Luka lifts a Larry O'Brien trophy before Davis even completes a full healthy season, the ridicule aimed at Harrison will only intensify. This trade isn't just about this season. It's about the next 5 years. If Davis breaks down physically, if Kyrie bails again, if the Mavericks flounder in mediocrity, it's not just Harrison's job on the line. It's the competitive trajectory of the entire franchise. Dallas mortgaged its future flexibility on this gamble. Without draft picks, without Luka, and with aging stars, a prolonged period of irrelevance could follow. Think about what happened to the Brooklyn Nets after the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce trade, or what happened to the Houston Rockets after the Russell Westbrook trade. A bad superstar gamble can set an organization back a decade. This is the level of risk Harrison assumed. If both the Lakers and Mavericks win championships within the next 5 years, it would rank among the rarest win-win trades in NBA history. Similar to the Lakers, Pelicans' Anthony Davis trade, which, despite heavy costs, delivered a title. Mutual success would vindicate both front offices. For Dallas, it would offer salvation. The fans would still miss Luka, but a second championship banner would ease the pain. For the Lakers, it would solidify the next era. Luka is already an MVP candidate, and with LeBron passing the torch, the Lakers could build another dynasty around their new European maestro. No matter what happens, the emotional damage is real. Luka wasn't just an MVP candidate. He was supposed to be the guy, the heir to Dirk Nowitzki's legacy, the player to spend 20 years in Dallas, carving out a Hall of Fame career under one banner. Trading him wasn't just a basketball decision. It was a soul-crushing separation from the dream fans had built for nearly a decade. Even if Davis delivers a title, there will always be a pang of sadness about what could have been with Luka in Dallas blue. In the end, rating this trade today is impossible. It needs 2 years, maybe 3. It needs full seasons of evaluation, playoff runs, injuries, chemistry experiments, and ultimately, it needs championships to validate either side. Today, the easy answer is that the Mavericks made a terrible mistake. But stranger things have happened in the NBA. Titles have a way of rewriting history. For now, though, Nico Harrison sits in a pressure cooker, and unless Davis and Kyrie Irving defy the odds, the Luka trade could become a cautionary tale for decades to come. A reminder that in the NBA, patience with generational talent is a virtue, not a weakness. History is watching, and it's not smiling.
Mình sẽ vuốt cho phẳng nha. Tiếp theo, phần này mình sẽ gấp lên đây nha. Tiếp theo là mình gấp phần này lên đây. Phần này mình cũng gấp lên trên này nha. Tiếp theo, phần này mình gấp lên đây. Mình lại gấp lên đây nha. Mình gấp lên như này. Mình gấp xuống như này nha. Mình gấp phần này lên trên nhá. Mình gấp xuống dưới như này. Bên này mình cũng gấp xuống dưới nhá. Tiếp theo là phần này mình sẽ gấp vào đây. Phần này mình sẽ gấp vào trong này nha. Theo là phần này mình gấp xuống dưới như này. Mình sẽ dùng keo mình dính vào nha. theo là mình sẽ dùng bút để mình vẽ. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ dùng bút để mình vẽ nha. Mình sẽ vẽ mắt nha mọi người. Vậy là mình đã hoàn thành xong rồi nhé mọi người. Mọi người cùng xem thành quả của mình nha. Mọi người có thể tham khảo cách làm này của mình nha. Video của mình đến đây là hết rồi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong các video tiếp theo nha. Bye bye tất cả mọi người. Chúc mọi người thành công nha.